Mr. President, I have more than expressed myself on this issue. Just in addition, a lingering question. How can the Senate archive something that is not before it? The articles are before the impeachment court. Therefore, I cast a negative vote.
Thank you. Ginoong Pangulo, mga kapwa kong senador at sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Bumoto po ako ng yes sa mosyon na sumasang-ayon sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema sa impeachment case laban kay Vice President Duterte. Ito po ay hindi sa gusto kong iligtas ang Vice Presidente, kundi dahil malinaw ang sinasabi ng ating batas at mas malinaw pa ang desisyon ng Korte Suprema na ito po ay labag sa konstitusyon. Alinsunod po sa one-year bar rule, hindi maaaring magsampa muli ng impeachment complaint ng 1 taon matapos ang naunang reklamo. Ayon po sa kataas-taasang hukuman, ito ay nalabag. At bilang mambabatas, hindi ako pwedeng pumikit na lang sa harap ng isang tahasang paglabag sa ating saligang batas. At para saan o ano pa ang saysay ng panunumpa natin noong nakarang linggo sa tungkulin na nakasaad doon na that I will protect and defend the Constitution kung ito ay susuwin lang naman natin. Ngunit linawin ko ito. Ang boto kong ito ay hindi para iabsuelto si VP Sara Duterte. Sa totoo lang po, gusto ko siyang humarap sa paglilitis upang maipaliwanag ang mga issue upang sumagot sa mga tanong ng taong bayan at upang harapin anumang pananagutan kung ito'y nararapat. Dahil ang paninilbihan sa taong bayan ay hindi po pribilehyo, kundi isa ring pananagutan. Public service is not just a privilege, rather it carries also huge responsibilities. Sa loob po ng mahabang panahon, nasanay na ang ilang matataas na opisyal kapag may kapangyarihan, may lusot. Kapag mataas ang posisyon, immune sa tanong o investigasyon. Tama na. Panahon nang baguhin ito. Kung tunay po na walang kasalanan si VP Duterte, dapat siya mismo ang manguna sa pagbubukas ng lahat ng dokumento, paggamit ng budget at mga hakbangin niya bilang pangalawang Pangulo at kalihim ng DepEd. Walang dahilan para umiwas kung malinis po ang konsensya. Ang boto kong yes ay hindi pagtatanggol sa kanya, kundi pagtatanggol sa legalidad ng proseso. Hindi po ito ang wakas. Kung may basihan at sa tamang panahon, hindi po ako magdadalawang isip na suportahang muli ang isang lehitimo at makatarungang impeachment. Dahil ang pamahalaan po ay para sa taong bayan, hindi po para sa iilang nasa puder. Maraming salamat at mabuhay po ang sambayan ng Pilipino.
Maraming salamat, Senator Erwin Tulfo. Ginoong Sekretaryo.
Senator Tulfo, Rafi.
Senator Rafi Tulfo is hereby recognized to explain his vote.
Mr. President, my vote is yes. Let me explain my vote. My dear colleagues, in our Constitution, the sovereign Filipino people agreed to establish a government that will run our country. Malinaw dito kung ano ang kapangyarihan ng bawat sangay. Ang legislatura ang tagagawa ng mga batas. Ang ehekutibo ang tagapatupad ng batas. On the other hand, ang Korte Suprema naman ang taga-interpret o tagapaliwanag ng batas kapag may hindi malinaw dito o may pagtatalo kung paano ito ipapatupad. Kaya naman, ang respeto ng bawat sangay ng gobyerno sa isa't isa ay mahalaga upang tuloy-tuloy ang maayos na pagpapalakad ng ating gobyerno. Under the Constitution, it is the House of Representatives that shall have the exclusive power to initiate all cases of impeachment. Wala po tayo papel sa proseso na yan. Our role only comes when a valid articles of impeachment complaint is filed before us. Mr. President, the case before the Supreme Court is about the impeachment initiation procedure before the House of Representatives. Whether a case of impeachment has been initiated according to the text and spirit of the Constitution. Of course, I will not delve into the correctness of the decision of the Supreme Court, but I believe it is within their authority to interpret the Constitution and declare whether the actions and processes before the House is constitutional. And so, we must accord the decision of the Supreme Court the same respect that they give the laws that we enact as the legislative. That is the scope and limitation of our powers. Having said that, allow me to go to the clear, dispositive portion of the decision. Sa dulo po ng 97-page decision, ito po ang sinabi ng ating Korte Suprema. Una, the articles of impeachment are unconstitutional and are deemed null and void ab initio. In other words, walang bisa noong simula pa lang. Second, the court said the Senate did not acquire jurisdiction to constitute itself into an impeachment court. Ibig sabihin, hindi nagkaroon ng Senado ng kapangyarihang maglitis bilang impeachment court. Mr. President, I agree that we should abide by the decision of the court to avoid any constitutional crisis. And if I were to take the duty to my heart, I believe the decision is very clear. No impeachment court was validly convened. That's my vote. With that said, however, there are concerns raised regarding the decision. So it is important for the Supreme Court to address these concerns. I have faith in the Supreme Court that it will perform its mandate. That's all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Rafi Tulfo. Secretary.
Senator Villanueva.
The Majority Leaders recognize Senator Villanueva.
Thank you very
Please
much,
vote.
Mr. President. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, this representation stands today not just a senator judge, but as a member of this institution who took an oath to uphold the Constitution. And I'm here, Mr. President, to explain my vote. But more importantly, to stay true to that oath, to serve with integrity and give life to the spirit of the law. Article 11, Section 1 of our Constitution provides that public office is a public trust. Ang isang katungkulan sa pamahalaan ay isang tiwalang ipinagkakaloob ng mamamayan. This underscores one of the core principles of democracy, that ultimate political power resides with the people. And thus, the preamble starts, Mr. President, we, the sovereign Filipino people, because the government's authority and legitimacy emanates from the people. Thomas Jefferson encapsulated the expectation from a person holding public office in one sentence. When a man assumes a public trust, he should consider himself as public property. Close quote. Kapalit ng tiwalang ipinagkakaloob ng bayan sa isang tao ay ang paglilingkod ng may katapatan sa saligang batas at sumasalamin sa mithiin ng bayan na nakapaloob dito. Ginoong Pangulo, pag-aari ka ng publiko dahil ang bawat galaw at desisyon mo ay hindi para sa sarili, kundi laging para sa bayan. While due process protects life, liberty, and property, public office is not private property. As Justice Malcolm wrote in Segovia versus Noel, a public position is not owned by its holder. Ang posisyon sa gobyerno ay hindi premyo o personal na karapatan. Ito po ay pananagutan at pagtitiwala ng taong bayan. During the July 26, 1986 discussion of the Constitutional Commission, it was noted that, and I quote, "A violation of an oath of office is itself a violation of the Constitution because a public official's oath is in the Constitution." Close quote. Thus, accountability is not only a moral imperative, it is a constitutional duty. Public officials are answerable to the people at all times, and the mechanisms of impeachment and oversight exist precisely because no one can claim a vested personal entitlement to office. Where accountability is demanded, due process must still be observed. Ngunit Ginoong Pangulo, hindi po ito dapat maging panangga laban sa makatarungan at lehitimong pagsusuri o gamitin upang gawing pagmamay-ari ang isang tungkulin pampubliko. Higit po sa lahat, hindi ito dapat maging kasangkapan upang takasan ang pananagutan. Wala po ni isa ang nakatataas sa pananagutan, nakakatakas sa pananagutan. Lalo na po ang mga nasa pinakamataas na posisyon ng ating bayan. Mabigat po ang papel natin dito sa Senado, Ginoong Pangulo, lalo na sa impeachment. Hindi po ito simpleng usaping legal. Desisyon po ito na nakabatay sa batas at nagmula rin sa ating prinsipyo at konsensya. The framers of our Constitution knew this. That's why impeachment decisions are ultimately acts of political and moral judgment, not just strict legal analysis. Kaya po malinaw ang disenyo ng ating saligang batas. Ang House ang may eksklusibong kapangyarihan para magpasimula ng impeachment, at ang Senado ang tanging may kapangyarihan na lumitis at magdesisyon. This is a sui generis role, unique, exemptional, and deeply rooted in our democratic system. That is also why both chambers of Congress were given the authority to craft their own rules of procedure in impeachment cases. May mga bumatikos po sa atin noon, Ginoong Pangulo, sa pag-remand natin ng articles of impeachment sa House. At sabi nila, ng mga bumabatikos, pag-iwas daw po ito sa tungkulin. Pero kung susuriin pong mabuti, Ginoong Pangulo, hindi po ito pag-atras sa ating tungkulin. It was a necessary and prudent step towards ensuring that the proper procedure was followed so that our decision as a court will not be marred by legal and constitutional infirmities. Now we are faced with the High Court's decision that tackles precisely that which we hope to avert when we remanded the articles of impeachment, Mr. President. So clearly today, the Supreme Court's decision in GR 278353 is a vindication of the Senate's action. We have been called so many names, Mr. President, and ridiculed in the digital court of public opinion. I'm sure the Senate President would likely agree with this representation that the allegations thrown at us regarding the impeachment and even the decision of the Supreme Court, a matter that we have no participation in, are extremely preposterous and absurd. But this exercise, while political in nature, is not about personalities. It's not about revenge. It's not about prevailing sentiments or personal biases. It is about upholding what is legal and constitutional, and what will hold true in the years that follow. Let me make one thing clear to our kababayans, mahal nating mga kababayan. We in the Senate have never abandoned our mandate in this impeachment proceeding. Ang bawat hakbang po na ating tinahak ay nakaangkla sa kaluluwa ng ating bayan, ang ating inaalagaan at pinoprotektahan sa ligang batas ng Republika ng Pilipinas. But as they say, Mr. President, dissent is not a threat to democracy. It is essential to its survival. Kaya doon po sa mga pumuna, sa mga nagsabing mali ang naging pasya ng Senado, hindi tama ang ginawa po natin dito, naintindihan naman po natin sila kung saan sila nanggagaling. And in that same democratic spirit, I now take this opportunity to respectfully air my own dissent to certain portions of the Supreme Court's decision. While we respect the court's authority, I believe there are portions of the ruling that may have inadvertently made the already difficult process of impeachment even harder. Agree po ako doon, Ginoong Pangulo. Impeachment was never meant to be easy, but neither was it designed to be impossible. The framers of our Constitution deliberately relaxed the rules to empower the people and lower the barriers to initiating accountability against high-ranking officials. The Constitution even allows any ordinary citizen to file a verified complaint. Ang mababa at mataas na kapulungan ng Kongreso ang nagsisilbing takbuhan ng mamamayan sa mga pagkakataong wasak na ang tiwalang ipinagkaloob ng publiko sa mga iniluklok nito. And yet, Mr. President, with this decision, we now see new procedural hurdles that were not explicitly required by the Constitution, including the rigid interpretations of due process at the preliminary stage. These add layers of complication to a process that is already politically and institutionally fragile. Kung hindi po natin iingatan, tama po yun. Baka po mawalan ng saysay ang impeachment. Buhay sa papel, ngunit patay sa proseso. This was no accident of drafting, Mr. President. The framers of the 87 Constitution intentionally relaxed the requirements for initiating impeachment, lowering the vote needed from 2/3 as required in the past constitutions to just 1/3 of all House members. As explained by the framers of our Constitution, this was meant to I quote, make it easier, not harder, to hold high public officials accountable, close quote. They had lived through a time when power went unchecked and accountability was elusive. Kaya siniguro po nila na ang kapangyarihan ay laging may akaakibat na pananagutan. Mr. President, this representation did not come to this decision lightly. We understand and value the necessity of public accountability. Naiintindihan po natin yan. Napakahalaga po yan. Walang sino man po ang dapat mailagay sa pedestal na hindi kayang abutin ng batas. Pero ang pananagutan po ay kailangan dumaan sa tamang proseso. Isang proseso na hindi lamang makatarungan, kundi naaayon at tumatalima sa saligang batas ng Republika ng Pilipinas. Sa mga ganito pong sitwasyon, hindi po naaalis sa aking isipan. Kung may mga pagkakataon meron po bang pagkakataon na maaaring labagin ng Senado ang mga ipinag-utos ng Korte Suprema? Maaaring halimbawa po nito ay kung may klarong panghihimasok sa internal rules o procedure ng Senado, ang Korte Suprema. Ngunit, Ginoong Pangulo, sa pagbibigay kahulugan sa nakasaad sa ating saligang batas, tanging Korte Suprema lamang ang may kapangyarihan bilang pinal na tagapagpasya. Article 8, Section 1 of the 87 Constitution expands the Supreme Court's scope of judicial power by mandating it to determine whether or not there has been a grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction on the part of any branch or instrumentality of the government. In the case of Angara versus Electoral Commission, Justice Jose P. Laurel, who later became the third president of the Republic, wrote, and I quote, "When the judiciary mediates to allocate constitutional boundaries, it does not assert any superiority over the other departments. It does not in reality nullify or invalidate an act of the legislature, but only asserts the solemn and sacred obligation assigned to it by the Constitution." Close quote. Noong pong tinatalakay ng ating mga constitutional framers ang probisyon sa konstitusyon patungkol po sa proseso ng impeachment, binanggit po ng kagalang-galang na Commissioner Dodong Maambong ang isang sipi mula sa isang kaso sa Amerika. Ang sabi po niya, and I quote, "Ang impeachment ay ang unang hakbang sa isang proseso ng pagwawasto. Ang layunin po nito ay hindi personal na pagpaparusa sa nasasakdal, bagkus ang pangunahing layunin nito ay panatilihin ang pamahalaang naaayon sa konstitusyon." This quote captures the heart of what impeachment is meant to be, Mr. President. It is not about personalities or punishment. It is about protecting the very structure of our constitutional democracy. And sometimes protecting that structure means accepting limits, even when we disagree with how those limits are drawn. In this case, the Supreme Court, as the final interpreter of our laws, has spoken unanimously, and I will say it again, spoken unanimously, decisively, and with finality. It ruled that the impeachment complaint violated the one-year bar rule. The Vice President was denied due process, and that this Senate, as of the moment, had not acquired jurisdiction. Mr. President, in closing, again, I would say we may not agree with every word of that ruling. But the rule of law is not a matter of convenience. It is the foundation of our democracy. Upholding it, even when it is difficult or unpopular, is what gives this institution its credibility and our democracy its strength. To ignore it, no matter how justified we may feel, is to risk eroding the very foundation we are sworn to defend, our beloved Constitution. Kaya po, Ginoong Pangulo, sa liwanag ng ating saligang batas at bilang paggalang sa pasya ng Korte Suprema, habang kinikilala po natin na may nakabimbing motion for reconsideration na sinampa ng House of Representatives, and in adhering to the immediately executory decision rendered by the Supreme Court, I vote to transfer the articles of impeachment to the archives. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Villar Camil.
Senator Camille Villar is recognized. You may proceed, ma'am.
Mr. President, my dear colleagues, I vote yes to the motion to archive the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte, respecting the decision of the Supreme Court. It is undeniable that the Supreme Court has the power under the Constitution to declare an act of a co-equal body as unconstitutional, a power known as judicial review. The power allows the Supreme Court to ensure that all branches of the government act within the bounds of the Constitution, and it should be respected. The three main branches of our government, the legislative, executive, and judicial, each is vested with distinct powers and functions by the Constitution, none superior to others. Each operates independently with its own sphere of authority and serves as a check and balance on the others to prevent abuse of power. This is the foundation of our democracy, and it ensures the rule of law, accountability, and protection of rights of all Filipinos. In this case, the Supreme Court has spoken. By a unanimous vote, the Supreme Court declared in clear and unequivocal terms the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte unconstitutional and null and void ab initio for violating the one-year bar rule and due process clause. As a result, the Senate did not acquire jurisdiction to constitute itself into an impeachment court. This decision, finally, is immediately executory. Mr. President, we have heard many good arguments in the recent weeks from both sides. Just today, being the youngest member of this robust body, I have learned so much from our esteemed and distinguished colleagues. But to me, it is simple. The opinion, or the most important opinion, is that of the final arbiter of our Constitution, and that is the Supreme Court. I have faith that the Supreme Court has done their duty and fulfilled their mandate. Being a legislator and a public servant, it is my duty to abide by that decision. Not too long ago, I took my oath of office as a senator, and I swore to support and defend the Constitution, and I adhere to that today. To do otherwise can lead to uncertainty and chaos, and even a constitutional crisis. This is what the rule of law expects from each and every one of us. And to respect the rule of law is to respect our democracy. And that is why I vote yes to the motion before us. Mr. President, dalangin ko sana na marisolba na natin ngayon ito upang mapagtuunan na natin ng pansin ang mga tunay at malalaking problema na hinaharap ng ating bansa at ng ating mga kababayan, katulad ng mataas na presyo ng bilihin, pagkaroon ng wastong hanap buhay, kalusugan at kaligtasan ng bawat Pilipino. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to vote yes and explain my vote on the matter before us, and to explain why we compromised today on archiving this very important topic. But of course, we must always remember that the status quo is that the Senate has no jurisdiction. So in legal speak, this complaint is null and void. Last July 25, the Supreme Court rendered a unanimous decision declaring the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte unconstitutional, noting that it is barred by the one-year rule under the Constitution and that it violates due process. The merits of this decision are not an issue before us. The sole question we need to answer is whether the Senate should respect the decision of the Supreme Court. And I say clearly and emphatically, yes. The Supreme Court has the ultimate authority to interpret what the Constitution is. No one, including the Senate, can substitute its opinion over the courts in any matter concerning the Constitution. And the Constitution itself, in Article 8, Section 1, entrenches the court's role in interpreting the Constitution and determining whether there has been a grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction by any branch or instrumentality of the government. This includes the Senate, even when acting as an impeachment tribunal. Justice Laurel laid down the doctrine in the Supreme Court as the final arbiter of constitutional issues in Angara versus Electoral Tribunal, where it was stated that when the judiciary mediates to allocate constitutional boundaries, it does not assert any superiority over the other departments. It does not in reality nullify or invalidate an act of the legislature, but only asserts the solemn and sacred obligation assigned to it by the Constitution to determine conflicting claims of authority under the Constitution. At dahil nagdesisyon na po ang Korte Suprema, tungkulin po ng Senado na sundin ang desisyon na ito. Sumasangayon man tayo o hindi, dahil nangako tayo, bawat isa sa ating mga senador, that we will support and defend the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, that we commit to obeying all laws and legal orders issued by the duly constituted authorities. Nasa oath of office po natin ito. In staying true to our oath of office, we must abide by the order of the duly constituted authority in matters of the Constitution, the Supreme Court. We must uphold the Constitution. Thus, the Senate cannot acquire jurisdiction to proceed with a trial, much less issue a verdict. Tulad ng sabi ni Senior Associate Justice Yonen, the impeachment process is a constitutional process. And although it is also a political process, it is not isolated from the requirements of the Constitution as a whole. Kailangan obserbahan ang due process, ang tama at makatarungang proseso bago matanggal sa posisyon ang isang individual. Habang iginagalang natin ang opinyon at pananaw ng bawat isa sa mga importanteng usapin, kailangan natin igalang, kilalanin at bigyang halaga ang kakayahan at kaalaman ng mga maestrado ng kataas-taasang hukuman na binigyan ng kapangyarihan ng ating konstitusyon bilang huling hukom na ipaliwanag kung ano ang batas at kahulugan nito at magdesisyon ng pinal sa isyung ukol sa konstitusyon. By recognizing the authority of the Supreme Court on the matter, the Senate does not abandon its mandate and its wisdom as an independent political body, nor does it concede or submit to a co-equal branch of the government. We are simply upholding the rule of law. At kung susuway tayo sa desisyon ng Supreme Court sa isang isyung konstitusyonal, binabaliwala natin ang konstitusyon. Ito ay magdudulot ng isang krisis sa ating saligang batas at lipunan na hindi makakabuti para sa taong bayan. As a functional society governed by the rule of law, we must accord our democratic institutions with respect, value their guidance, recognize their competence, and cherish their independence. Mr. President, pinapatunayan ng desisyon na ito na makakaasa ang tao na ang due process ay hindi lang guni-guni o kasabihan walang katuturan. Na ang due process ay para sa lahat at hindi lang para sa mga kakampi. Isang patunay na mapabisi presidente man o ordinaryong Pilipino, makakasigurado tayo na ang mga institusyon, ang Korte Suprema at ang Senado ay handang ipagtanggol, pahalagahan at bantayan ang ating mga karapatan. Without the rule of law, people may act without accountability, government leaders may act on personal interest, individual rights can no longer be guaranteed. Without the rule of law, there can be no justice, no order, and no real democracy. To end, I would like to quote Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Leonen, who penned the decision. There is a right way to do the right thing at the right time. This is what the rule of just law means. This is what fairness or due process of law means, even for impeachment. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Alam mo po yun, Ginoong Pangulo, dahil magkasama po tayo sa Kongreso ng 3 termino. At dun sa 3 termino, na alam ko yung bilang po natin ay 265, 268 congressmen, napakahirap po pag ang iyong pangalan ay nagsisimula sa letrang Z. Kasi ako po ay palaging huli. Minsan po, wala na pong tao nakikinig sa akin. Yung janitor na po, mga page ang nag-aayos ng mga upuan. Pero, subalit na yung araw na ito, nagpapasalamat ako at napakarami pang senador na nandito po na yun. Nandito si Senator Bato, Senator Bong, Senator Robin Padilla, Senator Amy, Senator Erwin, Senator Mark Villar, our Senate President Pro Temp, who's not listening, but he's here with us today, together with the movant, Senator Marcoleta, and all the rest, no? Nandito ang dalawang Cayetano na kaibigan natin. Yung mga seatmates nandito and minority. Pero Mr. President, honestly, it pains me to vote against my minority floor leader. It pained me and Senator Lauren. But what we are called to do here today goes beyond a simple vote. We all know that, Mr. President. It goes beyond a simple vote. Rather, for me, it's a test of our commitment to our Constitution and the rule of law. When the House of Representatives transmitted the articles of impeachment to us in February 5, 2025, my position was clear. We must go ahead with the trial, as this is our constitutional duty. In many interviews, that's what I said. It doesn't matter how I feel about it, because many people already said that I was on the other side. But I've said it doesn't matter what my personal feelings are. What matters is that we proceed with our constitutional duty. When the motion to remand the articles of impeachment came up on June 10, 2025, it was also my position, again, clear, that we must remand the articles not for the sake of dismissing the trial, Mr. President, but for the purpose of ensuring that the House of Representatives had not violated the impeachment process as laid out in the Constitution. I have always upheld the principles of rule of law and the primacy of the Constitution. And I've consistently shown the highest respects for the Supreme Court as the final arbiter of all constitutional questions. So today, again, my position is clear. We must respectfully adhere to the court's ruling that the current impeachment complaint is unconstitutional. Our Constitution expressly empowers the Supreme Court to review even the article or the actions of political branches. In Francisco versus House of Representatives, that case which has been mentioned by almost all my colleagues here, the court affirmed that it is the final arbiter for constitutional questions with authority to strike down acts that violate the Constitution. Thus, I vote to support the Supreme Court on not to proceed with the trial of the articles of impeachment as it violates both the Constitution and the guarantees of due process, rendering the current complaint unconstitutional and void ab initio. The grave denial of due process only magnifies its fatal defect. Without jurisdiction, any trial would be meaningless and any verdict null and void, Mr. President. To disregard the court's unanimous ruling would be to invite a constitutional crisis and to break our oath to support and defend our Constitution. The power of impeachment is not without limits, Mr. President, my dear colleagues. It must be exercised within the boundaries set by the Constitution as interpreted by the Supreme Court. And let me be clear for those listening tonight. The court did not place the Vice President beyond scrutiny. It simply required that any future impeachment follow constitutional safeguards. As simple as that. A new complaint may be filed by February 6, 2026, lawfully and with due process. At doon na po natin magagamit, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, yung ating mga gown at robe. Kasi sigurado, as the day will shine tomorrow, there will be an impeachment case filed against her. And we will be ready. This time, we will be prepared and follow the due process that was mentioned by the Supreme Court. I speak, Mr. President, as someone who's been a legislator for over 2 decades now, together with the Senate President, long enough to know that our fragile democracy rests on the strength of our laws, that our freedoms are given shape by our rules and traditions. And you all know me as a stickler for rules and traditions, together with my minority leader. I have served in both houses, House of Representatives and the Senate, and here in the Senate, being formerly a majority leader, the Senate President, and now your deputy minority leader. In all these roles, Mr. President, I've been conscientious in adhering to the rules and traditions that protect the integrity of our beloved institution. It is in this spirit that I adhere to the court's decision. My vote today is based on the Supreme Court's decision last July 25, 2025, without prejudice to whatever resolution it may later render on the motion for consideration. That's why I thank the good movement, Mr. President, to allow me to amend or to allow the amendment of his motion to make it a mere archiving of the document, because that will never stop us from being able to pull out that document from the archives. Maraming salamat sa ating mahal na movement, si Senator Marcoleta. Let me just say this, Mr. President, to end my manifestation and my vote. Restraint is not weakness. It is obedience to constitutional order. Let us act not in defiance of, but in deference to the Constitution, to the Supreme Court, and to the people who have entrusted us these powers in this very chamber. Daghan kay salamat sa akong mga kaigsunan, and may God bless us all. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Zubiri. With 19 affirmative votes, 4 negative votes, 1 abstention, the motion of Senator Marcoleta, as amended by Senator Joel Villanueva, adhering to the immediately executory decision rendered by the Supreme Court en banc on July 25, 2025, which among others held that the articles of impeachment are null and void ab initio, and that the Senate did not acquire jurisdiction, and to move to transfer the articles of impeachment in relation to case number 002-2011 entitled "In the Matter of the Impeachment Trial of Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte" to the archives. The same is hereby approved.